Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming to you live from the Torch Center. Thank you for joining us on Facebook and on YouTube, and soon on our brand new channel called JewishPodcast.org. JewishPodcast.org. So thank you for joining us. In this week's Parsha, Parsha's Bo, we have amazing tales of how the Jewish people lived beyond what we initially thought would be natural or living by the laws of nature. Now we know there's certain laws of nature, there's gravity and other forces that are built into nature. We know that if you have a loaf of bread, it'll take a few days and the loaf of bread becomes stale. That wasn't the case, by the way, with the miracle that was in the temple. They had the lechem apanim, they had the showbread, and the showbread stayed fresh, warm, from Friday to Friday. Every single Friday, they would replace it, and it would still be fresh and warm, like it was just placed there. And we see that you have many, many instances in Judaism where we live beyond nature. One of the representations of that beyond nature is the first commandment given to the Jewish people. It's a very interesting commandment. It's in this week's Parsha. The first commandment given to the Jewish people. And that is, anybody know? HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem. This month, the month of Nisan, should be the first month that you will count. And we count all subsequent months. And our sages tell us a very interesting idea, that every month is the concept of renewal. You can always start fresh. You can always start new. Now we know that every Rosh Hashanah we start new. We start a new year. We have a New Year's resolution. But our sages tell us that it's even more so. In Judaism we have every month. Tomorrow is going to be the first of February. But we don't see people going out in the streets and celebrating the 1st of February, right? But we do see that there's a special day called Rosh Chodesh, right, which is the beginning of every Jewish month. Why is it so special? In fact, the day before Rosh Chodesh is called Yom Kippur Katan. It's like a micro Yom Kippur. It's a day of atonement. Why? Because we're heading into a new month. We have the beginning of every month. But our sages tell us we have to understand that in Judaism its head in no time. You can possibly imagine that it could go wrong. Decision and confirmation. It's final. There's no going back. There's no appeals court for that. That was the decision of Achashverosh. That was the will of Haman, and that's it. Mordechai had nothing to do about it. Nothing he could do. Well, what did the Jewish people do? What we do whenever we're in trouble. We look up to Hashem. We look up to Hashem, and Hashem is the one who's above nature. God can change the reality. We see that also in the beginning of this week's Parsha. The same exact concept. And that is that we see, if I tell you, go to the mayor's office, right? Would it make sense for me to tell you, come to the mayor's office when I want you to go someplace? What does it say in this week's Parsha? This week's Parsha is called Bo. Bo means come. It says Bo el Paro, come to Paro. Let me come to Paro. What God is telling Moses and Aaron is, guess what? You think everything is going to be by the laws of nature, and you're going to have to go to persuade Pharaoh God hints in the following words, Bo, Pharaoh is going to come to you. He's going to come to you and beg you to leave. We typically think the laws of nature apply all the time. But in Judaism, one of the fundamentals of our understanding is that in Judaism, not everything goes by nature. There's a story that's told about a couple who got married a little bit at an older age and weren't able to conceive a child. And they went to many experts and many medical professionals, and they said, terrible news, but there's no way in the world you will ever have any children. And today their two little twin children are a testament that those things are not always accurate, or that there are different rules that apply to them. As a Jewish people, there are a different set of rules. And there are some Jews out there who can't stand hearing that. Right? Because it's not PC. What do you mean? We're just like all the other nations. And sadly, those are the same Jews who many of their children won't continue to be Jewish. And then they're questioning why. Is because when we don't recognize the difference, we have thousands of years of Jewish history to prove the same exact point. And the dumb people in our generation think that this generation is going to be different. It's not going to be any different. We have to recognize that we, as Jews, it's true we have to abide by the rules, but the laws of nature don't always apply to us. And it's extremely important for us to recognize that the way in which we invoke those special powers is through our prayer. Prayer, talking to God, asking from God to give us a supernatural redemption from slavery, whatever that slavery is, whatever that bondage is. That's what the Jewish people had leaving Egypt. That's what the Jewish people had with Haman and Achashverosh, and that is the same that we will have today and in all of the generations between now and the coming of Mashiach. I wish you all a good Shabbos. Thank you all for joining us on Facebook, and we hope you like and share this and all of our online content. Have a wonderful evening. We will continue with our regular class now.